Hello and welcome to the next interview in our Beyond Boundaries series. I am joined by Brijesh. Now,
Thanks,
I feel
Matt.
like you're a man who doesn't need an introduction,
Do you really think so?
but I'm going to ask you for one. But in fact, I'm going to ask you to even go back further to tell me a little bit about Brijesh. So I know you from Swiss InsurTech Hub,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I know nothing more about you, but
Okay.
I feel like I know you really well and we're good friends. So come on, give me the journey.
So the journey, if you think about how I got to insurance, I started working in hotels, right? I studied hotel management, then I got to banking,
Okay.
then I came to insurance.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, natural sense.
Natural sense.
banking-
Now, how that came
banking to
about?
insurance is a little
Banking
bit
to
more
insurance came about was when I was with banking, I started involved in process excellence, right? To say what can you do to make the way we work better,
obvious. Okay.
and that evolved into Six Sigma, GE, the entire six, and then it came to insurance. And today, the same concept applies to all this world about automation, right? So the journey started with working in a hotel kitchen to figuring
Where
out
is this,
how
in Switzerland or?
No, India.
Okay, in India.
I'm from
Right.
India. I studied hotel management in India, and then along the way, I decided to write a series of books about children.
I love it.
So it's children's science fiction. So
Please
we're
tell me.
we're still trying to find my way in the world. That's
Sure,
how I
love
always
that.
say, Madam.
Tell me there's a chapter about insurance somewhere in there. You wove it into the narrative.
I don't think it would have sold
Okay.
well, but yes.
But,
that's me.
okay, and then roll forward. How many years back was it that you guys co-founded InsurTech?
Yeah, good question.
Swiss
So this
InsurTech
was
Hub?
4 years ago,
Okay.
4.5 years ago. And the story how it founded was very simple. Once a few of us who used to work for Zurich Insurance, I used to work for Zurich Insurance, we were sitting around, and the question that we asked was, do we know how many insurtechs are there in the Swiss market? It was a very simple question. And the answer we said, I'm sure there are, but we don't know.
Sure.
And it came from a meeting around a dinner table to a point where we were now able to discover 120 odd who are a part of our ecosystem. And it's all been very organic. We do this next to our regular jobs, right? Because I always say that this helps me to do my daily job better. I look more intelligent when I talk to all the folks here. No, I really do.
Sure.
There are technologies, there are things that the way they're doing, you will never know by reading the internet or following 100 newsletters. You standing here, I mean, how we met was a coincidence, you could call it, right?
Sure.
But now I know much more about what you, and I can use this in my day-to-day job. And that's why I love it that sometimes I have to tell my wife, why do you have to now work 3 hours every day to do something for the Swiss InsurTech Hub? But because it gives that spark
Love it.
of imagination. So that's why we do it.
Thank you, Brijesh. Now I know more.
All right.
Can I get hold of these children's books?
Of course you do.
fact,
I'll
maybe-
send you.
maybe
I'll
a
send you a
copy.
signed copy.
Thank you. So and where we met. So we met. I mean, it's coincidence of sorts. I mean,
Right,
I
yeah.
traveled to Zurich to one of your events,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think it was hosted at the Google office. Nigel
Right.
Walsh was maybe one of the
Precisely.
keynotes.
Yeah.
Fantastic event. But there's more to what you guys do, right? And so recently I caught up with Sylvia,
Yeah.
right, one of your co-founders.
Right.
And so I learned about the missions that you take. So it's not just events that you run
No,
bringing
no.
people together in Switzerland, right?
Exactly.
You guys go overseas to certain destinations,
Right.
glamorous destinations around the
Yes,
world,
yes, well.
and immerse your cohorts or your members into innovation that's all
Precisely.
incumbents that are elsewhere.
Right, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
that's the right read.
Precisely. I think you nail it on the head. So the way we like to do it is there is stuff that you can learn in a conference, a huge conference like where we are in the DIA. But what we do is we work with our insurance contacts globally. I'll give you a small example. A few weeks ago, we were in Milan. We spoke with 4 of the biggest Italian insurers. We asked them before, what could be a topic that would interest you, where you could get an outside-in perspective to
Nice.
what you're doing. There's nothing, let's say, a generality of the world does not know about what's happening in the world of innovation. But if you can get 5 people in an intimate setting with the heads of claims, underwriting, talking, it's a very different feeling to sitting in a large conference to listening amongst one of 100. So I think
I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't.
And I think that's where our niche, if I may call it a niche for the lack of a better word, is how we can enable that. And thanks to that, then we can go deep into topics. So every year we would pick 1 or 2 topics. So this year we're going to be doing something around digital health.
Okay.
So we'll work with Switzerland's largest health insurer and say they want to drive something on, I'm giving you an example, personalized health. So then we will find out insurtechs or health tech related startups and put them in a very focused session. And I believe that's the value we can add.
Yeah.
Can we add the value by bringing them this next Series A or Series B? No, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
We are here for to provide them FaceTime.
Just,
the best possible
so as Brijesh says, so we're at ITC in Amsterdam,
Right, yeah.
and I've just come off of the stage with a panel.
It's a fantastic panel, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But where we were talking about innovation, we had some big hitting names from Aviva, AXA, and Ergo, but also some startups. Yeah? So Mosaic, Juniper. And what was really interesting was and we've heard the narrative, right? It's move away from innovation theatre, which could so easily be the role of an association, right? To celebrate the best of the talent and throw them in front of. But what you're doing, and what we heard is a necessity, and I couldn't agree more on the panel, is that alignment with strategic need. Because otherwise it's never going to get anywhere, right?
Right.
And so what I'm hearing is, so you're speaking to the carriers that are out there, the insurers, the possibly others, and then you're identifying such as a need as connected health, and then going to source those
As
relevant
example,
startups and bring forward.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Any advice? I don't know. Like, do you go further than that step? Like whether it's advice to those incumbents who are looking for the innovation, or for the startups looking to strike those partnerships? Anything further that you take that?
Yeah, I would like to simplify that entire thing in a different way. That what I think is that in the world of innovation, as you can do, you can add complexity
Easily.
into any topic.
Yeah, sure.
Into any topic, right? You talk about innovation. Every insurance firm has an innovation department. They could be anything between 2 to 100 people, depending on where you are. And what we try and always ask is a simple question. So tell me what will make your life as a manager better, and how will that help your client's life better as an insurer? And if we can string in a few solutions or intelligent people into that value chain, that's what we like to do. And that's what we've learned is the best case is the use of, you bring in energy at a personal level, you bring in energy at an organizational level. So that's what we try and do, is move away from what we call as the fear of missing out, right? Just because today there were 7 sessions on agentic AI, you don't need 6 more insurtechs talking about agentic AI using the same use case. It's about finding out that you can spin the same story to make it very simple from a different angle, right? You don't have to forcibly prove that every solution can be applied in every problem that you got.
Yeah.
And that discussion, I think, we find it easier to engage in. And we tell people, look, I don't want to create your innovation strategy. There are much better people out there who can do that inside your organization. But we can provide in that simple outside way.
Love it. And you know, when so you talk about your recent visit to Milan, and you mentioned Generali and maybe 3 other companies you saw. How open are these guys to welcoming the Swiss InsurTech Hub to their parties, right? Because you know, so we, for example, at Sønr, we've worked with Generali for years, have a wonderful relationship, and this is what I'm really trying to bring through from this study is we're not doing this alone, right? You're not doing this alone. There's an ecosystem of players all contributing to this, bringing this connection together. But how welcoming and open are these guys? Because they must be, otherwise you wouldn't
swamped by.
No, but they must be swamped for sure. But they also giving us all time.
Precisely,
right?
yeah. I think that's a fantastic point. It's about the evolution of the innovation ecosystem, right? Because if you think about it, most of us who are driving you're members of this innovation ecosystem, and insurers is starting to realize it's not about competition, it's about Lego blocks that fit in together. And the more and more way we can talk in a simple way, so say, look, I help you fix this part of the Lego block. And they say, okay, because you know, see, we're not trying to sell anything to anyone. And I think that's the realization that's talking to, unless you bring in people together, and really it's an ecosystem, one person can't do this alone. Maybe they could 15 years ago, but there's far too much information, there's far too much opportunities and players out there. So we did find it difficult 4 years ago, and just to be very, very honest, right? We have some fantastic connects thanks to being in the industry, but now we can go beyond those connects.
Yeah,
and to me, that's always say, look, we can help bring one part of the puzzle, and that's the way that we like to approach it.
Love it. I'm going to have to wrap Brijesh, I want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for tuning into this episode for the Beyond Boundaries study. There's going to be more to come. Brijesh, big thank you. Speak soon.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Fantastic. Thank you.